everyone, my name is Courtney L, and this year I've been placed at the Legal Aid Society in the Public Benefits Department. A little over a year ago, as I prepared to graduate from the University of Kentucky, I was looking for a program where I could explore my interest in the nonprofit field. I was tired of volunteering and being assigned clerical duties like stuffing envelopes and creating Excel sheets, doing those simple tasks that no one on staff wanted to do. I wanted to work in a more direct manner and see if I could handle it. When I discovered the Public Allies program, it seemed perfect. As I look back on the past year and reflect upon who I was when I started the program and what I wanted to get out of the program, I have realized a great deal about myself and the nonprofit sector. My greatest surprise in the program has come from my learning about motivations that spur individuals to help others. Now I want to ask everyone here, how many people in this room have had some type of revelation over these past 10 months about why people who work in the nonprofit sector want to help others? Specifically, I know of myself, before I entered the program, I thought that everyone who worked in the nonprofit field worked there because they wanted to help people. But over the past 10 months, I've realized that that's not always the case. Has anyone else realized that also? Yeah. So as I prepared for my POL, I've started thinking about what types of factors causes that to happen. What makes someone lose the passion that they had when they first started the program? So I want to ask you guys, with individuals you've met who seem to be less dedicated than they were when they first started, what are some reasons why that's happened to them?
Red tape and bureaucracy.
Sorry?
Red tape and bureaucracy.
Just like burnout, the work's hard and there's too much of it.
They've had too much time in the office, like they're not around people anymore, they're not seeing the actual effect.
They're not being affirmed in the way that they need to be affirmed.
They're trying to tackle something that they can't possibly do in this lifetime alone.
What kind of agency have the policy and the code of ethics you kind of belonging that everyone?
I've noticed all of those things, especially in dealings with other nonprofits through my work at Legal Aid. And I want to share two specific examples where I've noticed that. The first occurred when I was helping an immigrant family apply for public benefits for their children. We had begun the application process for this family, and then I was told by my supervisor that we were contacted by a caseworker that was working with this family from another nonprofit that specializes with working with immigrants. We got a call from this caseworker because the caseworker was very upset with us that we decided to help this family apply for public benefits when he felt as if, because of their specialization, that they would be better equipped to handle this. And I was so surprised, and I thought that all that mattered was that we were helping this family. Why does it matter who's starting this process? That's when I realized that for nonprofits, it's not always about helping, it's about taking credit for helping. Yes, it's important that they're being helped, but to this caseworker, it was more important that he got to count that family as a part of his work, not the Legal Aid Society. Another learning moment for me came in attending a hearing for a client who was denied public benefits. During this hearing, it became obvious to me that the caseworker denied this woman her public benefits because of a personal interaction she had with that woman where harsh words were stated. She allowed this to cloud her judgment and what type of effort she put forth to help this woman. This made me realize that it's not always easy to motivate yourself to help someone. It very much matters who's sitting across from you. Do you relate to this person? How is this person interacting with you? Do they seem grateful for what you're doing, or are they very hostile to what's going on here? So when I was planning this, Public Allies has taught me the importance of being critical of yourself. So I worry that over my 10 months, I've become somewhat of a critic, where it's easier for me to point out flaws in others. So I decided to take a step back and see if I've done those kind of things over my last 10 months, and I've realized that I have. I've let my interactions with individuals affect the type of service that I give them. And I have two specific examples here. I had one woman who I called her to begin the application process, and she seemed so thankful that someone was finally taking the time to help her that I told her, I'm here for you, just tell me what you need. And she said, send me the application, follow up a week later, and then call me every day that you're in the office to remind me what I have to do. And I said, okay, I'll do that for you. And this is something that's not a part of our normal protocol at all. But me and this woman, we had created some type of bond where I was willing to go the extra step to help her. And then I had another client, I called this woman, she expressed interest in applying, so I sent her out an application. I followed up with her, I called her on the phone, said, did you get the application? I was calling to see if you had any questions or anything. And then the woman, she said, and then hung up the phone on me right then. So I sent her a closing letter and never called her back again. And just thinking of this specific example, because we're told that you don't have to accept abuse from others. So that was completely fine. But now I look back and I ask myself, why didn't I consider why that woman was angry? Perhaps she was having a bad day. I didn't think anything of what she might be going through that could cause her to act that way then. So for one woman, I'm willing to call her every day, but for another, based off of her one reaction to a situation, I'm not following up with her or giving her any type of help now in this situation here. And this really surprised me because this was only 2 examples that I could think of. But I wonder how often in my life does my interaction with someone affect what type of service I give them? Do I just simply give them the bare minimum of what I have to do? I follow protocol and that's it? Or am I willing to go above and beyond for some people? And for me, this really shocked me because I judge others when they place their value judgments on situations and say that someone deserves more than others, but that's what I've been doing in certain situations here. This is a really humanizing moment for me because I never thought that someone from a low-income background could go into this type of professional field and feel that way. I always thought that my background would constantly keep me motivated to treat everyone fairly, to treat everyone the exact same way, regardless of what I find out. But I came to realize that that's hard to do with people that you work with. And I was only at the Legal Aid Society for 10 months, and I was starting to do things like that. So I could understand how easy it might be for others who have been there for 5, 10, 20 years to do that. So I think my biggest learning moment here has come from, I realize now how important it is to constantly reflect upon the work I'm doing and to constantly assess my thoughts in the situation. How motivated am I? Am I treating everyone fairly here? If I'm not feeling motivated, why? I need to practice self-care so that I can really be the best person that I can to all my clients. Because if I simply let these things pass by, I'm going to turn into that person that we've all met who just doesn't care anymore, who cares sometimes when she wants to. And I don't want to be that person, especially thinking of the career I want to have as a lawyer. I can't do that to clients. I can't say that this person's situation seems worse than this person's, so I'm going to do more to help you, and you'll get the basic service here. So that's just something I need to be really intentional about, and thankfully, I'll be at the Legal Aid Society this summer before I go to law school, so I can continue delving into that and find out what I need to do on my end, so I can always stay passionate and motivated when it comes to these things. Thank you. Woo!